kicking things off a little bit differently this week, starting off with putting a PSA out there that both the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of America are currently on strike, and we absolutely support them, their members, and their asks. You can find more info about it on their respective websites. And as for film critics and entertainment journalists, we are not currently on strike. SAG has in fact explicitly issued some guidance on it. Movie reviews and TV reviews are kosher for now, so we're going to keep doing what they're doing until they ask for support in a different capacity. But just making it clear, reviews, roundtables, etc. are totally fine for now. So let's talk about what we are reviewing this week, and that is one movie and one movie only, and that is Barbie. Now, am I sad I did not get a chance to do the Barbieheimer double feature before I headed to Comic-Con? Yes, I'm very sad, but the irony is, they're both opening on the same day, and also they had their screenings on the same night, which is kind of a brilliant tactic because it really makes you choose a side, but also a little frustrating. So, unfortunately, I have not seen Oppenheimer yet, but because I had to choose between the two, I was like, you know what? I know how Oppenheimer ends. I have a general sense of the quality of this movie, etc., etc. I don't necessarily need to know that right away. What I do need to know is about Barbie, because it is a wild card to me. And I will do a real review of Oppenheimer when I see it, and I'm sure it's, a well-made film and all that stuff. But let me tell you, when it came to picking Barbie, boy, howdy, am I glad I picked it, because I had such a good time at this movie. I almost don't want to tell you too much about it because I don't want to overhype your expectations, and I want you to be able to discover so much of it on your own, but I will give you a couple pieces of info on it. So first off, directed and written by Greta Gerwig, also co-written by Noah Baumbach, who is her partner. I really like Greta Gerwig as a director. I think Lady Bird especially was such a great film. I think if you are a woman in your 30s, this Barbie movie in particular is going to speak to you so hardcore. So, we've got Margot Robbie as Barbie, who is truly perfect casting. Like, you could not have, as she's watching this movie, I was just like, damn, Margot Robbie is such a good actress. And not that I ever thought otherwise. I've seen her in other roles where I'm just like, yeah, you are really good. But this, I'm like, you are selling a plastic doll as the embodiment of a plastic doll, and you are making me feel for her. And it's a compliment to both Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. But then there's Ryan Gosling as Ken, who is also perfect. The casting of this movie is perfect. It is undeniably perfect. Like, he is the perfect himbo in this. And his comedy, I think he's been funny in other things before, but this just really tapped into something for him that it just tickled my funny bone in such a way. So you've also got America Ferrera, Kate McKinnon, Michael Cera, Ariana Greenblatt, Issa Rae, Rhea Perlman, Will Ferrell, John Cena, Emma Mackey, Harry Neff, Alexandra Shipp, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Simu Ncuti Gatwa, Scott Evans, Jamie Demetriou, and Connor Swindells. And that's a stacked cast. It's a stacked cast. It's a diverse cast. They do all this stuff to address sort of all the issues that you initially associate with Barbie. I think one of the other things I do want to give guidance on is, is this for little kids? Probably not. It's rated PG-13, and not that I abide by ratings for, whether or not a little kid should see a movie. Obviously, it's up to parents, etc., but I just don't think they'll appreciate it as much as, say, like I said, somebody in their 20s or 30s might. It is so specifically honed in for the 30s. There are some, musical references especially that's just like, oh, she gets it. Not that I doubted she got it, but she gets it. So, I saw the trailer, the 2001 Space Odyssey homage trailer when it first came out, and I was like, I think this is for me, and it was very much for me. I almost wish I had not seen any of the other promo materials because it not gave away, but there's plenty more to discover, but it did give away some jokes that I was like, I wish I just discovered this in the moment because it would have been even more impactful. If you can't tell, I am smiling because I am just remembering how ridiculous and good this movie is. So please go see Barbie. It's not a little kids movie. It is not just for girls or, it's none of those things. It is actually a really thoughtful social commentary. It has humor. It has some emotion. I just think it is truly brilliant. I think it's pretty subversive. I am shocked that Mattel let it happen, but bless them for doing so. I almost respect them more as a company for allowing this to happen and being like, you know what, go forth. I think it speaks to a modern era of Barbie, and that's all we can ask for Barbara Millicent Roberts. But Man, it's just so much fun at it. Like I said, I don't want to ruin any of the other stuff for you. If you've seen the promo materials, even if you haven't, just go see it. Just go see it. It's an unequivocal for me. Just go see this movie. There is no one except for maybe small children who won't get the jokes and some of it that I would say goes. And even if you want to bring your little kids, there were plenty of like little kids, not little, but I'd say terrible at gauging this, but let's say 7 or 8 year olds at the movie who I didn't hear anyone complaining at least, but this is definitely not like one of the animated Barbie movies for little kids. This is a smart, thoughtful film. Is it a perfect movie? Absolutely not, because nothing out there is actually perfect. But did I have a really good time at it? Yes, I did. And, there are a couple issues that I would be remiss if I didn't address. It comes from a very specific perspective, if you know what I mean. And I happen to enjoy her perspective, even though I don't come from that same background. But there are a couple moments where I was a little disappointed in, we do certainly have a lot of casting diversity, but for example, there's no female lead Asian Barbie. There's Simu Liu is Ken for sure, but we didn't get, we have a plethora of folks playing the Barbies. Why don't we have Asian Barbie? ? Who has more of a part? There are a couple in the background, but and also it's coming from a very specific worldview. I think also socioeconomically, but still, at the end of the day, I had a really good time at this movie. I think it's worth putting some of those qualms aside and going to see it, because either way, it's a great conversation piece. And like I said, I personally had a great time. So I am going to give it a 5 out of 5.